Mr. Speaker, honourable members, my motion reads thus: need to extend the payment of occupational hazard allowances to agricultural professionals in the civil/public service of the Federation. The House notes that agriculture is the largest employer of labor in many countries, especially in Africa and Asia. Also, the House notes that agriculture, in addition to being the largest employer of labor in Nigeria, is one of the three most dangerous sectors in terms of occupational safety and health, the other two being construction and mining. The House also aware that safety and health in the Agriculture Convention held at Geneva on 5th of June 2001 defined agriculture to cover agricultural and forestry activities carried out in agricultural undertakings, including crop production, forestry activities, animal husbandry, insect raising, and agricultural installation, including any process, storage, operation, or transportation in an agricultural undertaking which are directly related to agricultural production. Concerned that despite hazards being faced by agricultural professionals in Nigeria, they do not enjoy any form of occupational hazard allowances.
Honorable EJ, please allow the speaker to concentrate.
By their counterparts in the veterinary, livestock,
Honorable EJ, please allow the speaker to concentrate. Silence, please.
Conscious of the fact that agricultural officers, like their counterparts in veterinary and livestock, face a lot of hazards, which sometimes lead to incapacitation, deformity, and or death. Also aware that the nature of hazards being faced by agricultural professionals include chemical poisoning, acid spill, inhaling poisonous gases, susceptibility to attacks by wild animals, poisonous insects, reptiles, bees, and snakes, etc. Acknowledges the need to mitigate the exposure of the agricultural professionals by extending to them the benefits of occupational hazards allowances. Recalls that the agricultural professionals, through its recognized body, the Agriculture and Allied Employees, made several requests to enjoy occupational hazard allowances, but were turned down with no justifiable reason. Convinced that extending the payment of occupational hazard allowances to agricultural professionals like their counterparts in the veterinary, livestock, and other related animal health fields will spur them into putting in their best services. Resolves to urge the Secretary to the Government of the Federation to direct the National Council on Establishment to extend the payment of occupational hazard allowances to agricultural professionals in the civil/public service of the Federation. Mandate the Committee on Agricultural Production and Services and Labor, Employment and Productivity to monitor compliance and report back within 3 weeks for further legislative action. I so move the motion with a view to convincing this House to support the passage of this motion. Mr. Speaker, honourable members, we are all aware of the fact that the government is now preaching the gospel of diversification of the Nigerian economy away from oil to agriculture. We are also conscious of the fact that agriculture contributes about 70% to our gross domestic product. We are equally conscious of the fact that agriculture accounts for about 47% of our employment in this country. Coupled with the diversification policy that this government is preaching, and the main drivers of the sector with a view to achieving the lofty aims and objectives of the government of not only creating employment, achieving food security, and also exporting surplus and other cash crops outside the country with a view to adding the much needed foreign exchange, is the agricultural professionals that are employed in our civil/public service with a view to driving that policy to see the light of the day. And in the course of discharging this function, which is based in the rural areas where most of us here represent, they are exposed to a lot of hazards, as mentioned in the course of reading the motion. Snake bite, attack by armed robbers, a lot of other hazards they are being exposed to in the course of discharging these duties. And professionals like medical doctors, like veterinary doctors, and other animal health practitioners that are also similar to those that are in the agricultural sector currently enjoy occupational hazard allowances. So, Mr. Speaker, honorable members, our argument is that what is good for the goose is equally good for the gander. And therefore, same occupational hazards should be extended to the people in the agricultural professionals who are saddled with the responsibility of bringing to fruition the much needed diversification of Nigerian economy away from oil to agriculture that this government is currently preaching. And by so doing, we are even giving more teeth to our commitment to the issue of diversification of the economy away from oil to agriculture. So without much ado, having given more flesh to what I have read, it is my hope and prayer that my colleagues will unanimity support this motion so that the executive arm of government will be now gingered to implement the resolution of the House. Thank you, Honorable Speaker and honorable members.
I serve it.